Hey everybody, welcome to This and That with Maggie and Ryan. How are you all doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm your co-host Ryan, and this is the beautiful side.
How does it go? Or whatever.
Oh man,
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday.
Yes.
We have a lot to discuss today, and we also have the most amazing guest today, the incomparable, the clever, the articulate, the incredibly just lovely Tracy Delaney. So we're going to bring her in right now. Woo woo!
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, did we bore you? Oh.
Yeah, good to be here.
That's my girl. That's my girl. Always ready for a comedic timing. I appreciate those things more than you know.
I know. We all need a little comedy right now.
Yeah, seriously, tell me about it. Well, Maggie's great at that. So.
Yes.
Well, you are great at that. And how are you, Tracy? And thank you for being on our show.
I'm good. I was actually just on my phone looking for the email that we had just talked about while you guys were I can't find it, but it's there somewhere.
Trump, my God.
Trump.
Don't worry. I will move you through the show in the direction we need to go.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everything is just kind of out in the open. We like it being kind of free flowing anyways.
Cool. Absolutely. We usually get better conversations that way. So speaking of, we were just talking about your TikTok account, your main account still being banned, which we think is, I think is ridiculous.
Boo.
I agree 100%.
So hopefully, is there a way that anybody can help you try to get that back? Because I know a lot of people have had, like, after 5-6 months.
Tried to help. So many people tried to help. So I don't think there is anything that could be done.
Jolly Ginger, like a lot of people got theirs back after like 5-6 months.
Did you delete it, or is it still just there?
It's still there, but I've appealed several times, and every time I get told no, this violates blah blah blah.
The ghost got an email from TikTok, and they said, "Yep, no, we're not gonna give you your account back." And then something happened, like a day or two later, he got it back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep trying. I haven't stopped, but
So guys, we need to help. We need to help Tracy get her account back, because we all need that comedy back in our life.
Absolutely.
I
think what they do though is they put you on some kind of probation period. That's my feeling. And then one day it'll just magically be back after. So, and I think there's so much law going back as far as like helping people get their accounts. I'm afraid constantly for mine. I don't know if anyone knows what's going on right now, but the Russian bot situation on TikTok has.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's because they got shut down in Russia. And so now it's like they have flooded here. And I have actually removed and every day the number goes up, over 500 followers that I have suspected. Jeez. Just suspected. Yeah. And you know what? I even told my husband, I'm like, I'm sure I probably got rid of people that were legit people. But you know what? You don't have anything for me to see. I'm not trusting it, because people are just constantly reporting and doing this mass reporting thing on TikTok. And it affects people. You have done absolutely nothing wrong. No. Neither did Ryan before either. It's like the truth is sorry, go ahead.
No, they will just remove you if they get enough reports. They don't really check into what you're being reported on. I've heard people saying they're reported for nudity who are talking about politics. It's like,
that's happened to Maggie a few times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
All day, every day. It's like, what?
And other people
not naked
videos, or is it just me?
I've gotten so many. Most of the video content violations are for nudity and sexual content, and I'm like, I mean, sometimes warranted, but other times, not so much.
Yeah, the one you did in the bra, I was like, okay, maybe that was pushing a little boundary. I mean, it's not much different than a bikini. But
desperate times call for desperate measures. You know what? There are times where you're like, sorry, I can't be. I'm funny, I'm smart, but you're not seeing that. So bring out the tatas.
Yep.
But that's the thing, right? Half the people on TikTok are in their bra anyway. So I mean,
that's my thing. Like the ones that do the butt shaking videos. And I'm like, and that bothers me, because I know that Maggie, people like Maggie that put out, videos that are meant to be funny but still educational, you know, to some degree. It's like, okay, so we're gonna ban that, or we're gonna censor her, we're gonna censor Maggie, but we're not gonna censor the chick in the yoga pants, you know, doing a butt clap for 3 minutes straight.
Oh, there are videos. I mean, remember last year the debacle where there was literally a man exposing himself, and that just stayed up.
Yeah,
You remember
I forgot
that?
about that.
We were all like, TikTok, what are you doing?
Like, that's
full on genitals, and no problem. So, you know, I don't think anyone knows what's going on there, but at least I will say we do have a good community of people that want to band together and help each other when these things happen, and, you know, stand by each other and build up our accounts again if you get banned, and, you know, hope for the best, right?
That really has been nice. You know, I guess we call it camaraderie, you know, or whatever, but just the relationships that we've all built, and being willing to step up for each other when things like that happen. It's like, okay, that was BS. Like, no, you know, we need to stand up for each other and say, this is ridiculous. And that's how accounts get back. So
I didn't reach out to anybody when my account got banned. I just went, oh, well, that's, you know, and suddenly people were reaching out to me and going, I like that
what
guy.
Can I do?
The dude trader, he just created an email link for me.
I sent an email on your behalf. I mean, you know,
like, why, you know, people just really rallied around, and I was just like, wow, I wasn't even going to bring it up to anybody. Like, I was tweeting at TikTok on Twitter all the time, like, hey, dickheads, give me my account.
But you know what? I think that's a really important thing to remember. Especially, I know we're not going to talk about the drama on TikTok, but there is so much going on TikTok right now, and so much negativity. But a really big positive of that is that there is that camaraderie. There is that community, and there are friendships that we've been able to form during this time. And it's so, you know, things were a lot different a couple years ago. We are literally at like the 2-year anniversary of like lockdown. Isn't that weird? But like, we all kind of flocked to TikTok in this like sense to just like, okay, well, now what do? We're stuck in our homes. But how life has changed because of this one place, right? It's amazing to me. There's positives and negatives, obviously, you know.
Absolutely. And, you know, we were talking about this earlier. I've tried to be a little more cautious with my second account, you know, because I'm getting close to 50,000 on that. And it's like, I'm not starting over another time. Like, if I lose that account, I'm done. Like Trey said, I'll go to I've got a Twitter following. I'll build up my Instagram. I'm just not going to waste the time. But like you said, the flip side of it is like, I wouldn't have met any of you. You know, we wouldn't have these great conversations. We wouldn't be helping each other out. You know, it's, you know, and I know you guys are going to laugh, but there's times people in my personal life that they're like, dude, you get to talk to like real Tracy Delaney and Sadia and Maggie, and like, you actually know these people. I'm like, well, you know, like, like, we talk offline, you know, whatever. But to them, that's freaking cool as hell. Like, it's almost like they fanboy and fangirl out because I get to talk to you guys. So
hey, that's cool. Pretty cool. Never heard that before. I think you just threw me in there to make me feel better, but I'm here for it. I'm cool with it.
No. I swear to God. I didn't say that just to make you feel better.
Well, thank you.
Well,
my little Peasley account.
But it worked. Okay. So
all right, let's move into Ukraine, you guys.
Go ahead and
let's talk. I want to talk about the specifics of what's been happening this week. There were a lot that happened. I mean, you know, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. You know, first and foremost, do you remember this week, Marco Rubio came out and exposed where Zelensky was during a online
he wasn't the only
thing.
one, but he was.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one.
There was two of them.
What's going on in America here? With the GOP in Ukraine, what is going on here?
I'll let you take it first.
No, well, I've a couple of things to say about it. I mean, I think part of it is that I think I made a tweet more or less to the point, was that it's sort of like the political equivalent of, you know, helping a homeless person and sort of recording yourself. He literally only put it up just to say, look at me, I'm talking to Zelensky. Look, I'm a good guy. I'm doing something good. He was asked not to. There was literally no other reason to put it up there except for bravado and to show and tell. I'm sorry, you're not supposed to get a clap on the back for talking. this is your job, and it was really just bragging and just showing, look at me, look what I'm doing. And the fact, somebody said, oh, but did it really show where Zelensky was? Hopefully it didn't, but I saw it, and from what I can see, I can't tell where he is, but that's not the point. The point is he was asked not to. And if it doesn't show exactly where Zelensky is, that's pure luck on his part. And it's a good thing that, but he could have, and it was stupid. Yeah. And we need better from our politicians than this kind of show and tell, clap on the back.
Yeah.
Look what I do. Look, I'm talking to Zelensky. I mean,
I'm just going to co-sign that and say, like Tracy said, it's your job. And more importantly, if you don't have the ability to not release that information when you're asked to as a politician, as a legislator, as a representative, then you don't deserve to be there. And I'm going to tell you why personally. I've had I probably don't anymore, but I've held a secret security clearance for probably about 15 years of my adult life. And if I had done something like that with my job, and I have had to fire people for this, no bullshit. I worked on F-18s. If you took a photo in the hangar, with one of the planes and you put it on social media, you're fired. You're done. Period. You lose your clearance, you lose your job, you're done. So the fact that we have actual freaking representatives during a potential world war, releasing this information, it's just, if a normal person had done that, if somebody like me had done that with my security clearance, I'd be done.
Yeah.
And I think what the thing that really stings so much is that we're also looking up against GOP members that are siding with Russia right now. You know what I mean? So it's like when you see something like that, it doesn't seem like it's an accident. It doesn't seem like, oh, just look at me. Oh, I made a mistake. Especially when are you dumb? Like, I mean, do you not understand that this man is like, he's had 3 or 4 assassination attempts out on his life. Yeah. And for him to even be communicating with us and for you to put that out there like that, how irresponsible. It seems like a,
well, and like you said, the fact that, I just lost where I was going with that.
Well, no, while you think of it, I was going to ask, what do you guys think is the end game here of all this? Like, Madison Cawthorn saying, oh, Zelensky's a thought. I mean, from where I am right now, I can't see.
Yeah. There's
obviously an end game. There's obviously a goal. There's obviously a plan. I mean, this is not just out of nowhere, but I don't know where exactly they're going with this.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is that if you look at all the representatives, Republicans, the GOP people who came out and said, oh, Russia didn't interfere with the 2016 election. The Mueller report's bullshit, blah, 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 blah. Hey, brother. A lot of them are the same people that are right now going, well, Putin's not that bad. And I mean, I see why he's doing it. Like, they're the same freaking people. So like you guys, I think you both said it. It's like when the dots start connecting themselves, don't ignore it.
Yeah. I think it's the continual, pulling apart of America. I think that's what's happening is that we see right now, Fox is the new Russian propaganda in America. Yeah. They're being shown over in Russia. Tucker Carlson is like a blast over in Russia. They're like, this guy. I mean, the divide is the propaganda. And it's not like we haven't been exposed to this for many, many years. We've had so much of this, especially through the internet, happening throughout the years. I think that's the real end game, is to truly divide America. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not succeeding at this point, because look at us. I mean, we are broken. We are broken.
I personally think it's to minimize our ability to respond is what I think, because Russia, there's only a few countries that Russia is really worried about, and we're one of them. So if you have us fighting with each other and you have us fighting over budgets and all this stupid shit, it kind of takes us off the table in some ways.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, look at what's happening. All the Republicans are pushing
Spot
back. A
on.
lot of them are
Everything else is a distraction.
all a freaking distraction.
We'll get
It's
to
like
that part too. Yeah.
Russia is trying to remove us from the equation so that they can further their thing. And to go back to what Tracy asked, from a military standpoint, like just my personal military experience, I should say, I don't know. And that's personally what bothers me, because there's no end in sight where you're like, okay, I see what he's trying to do here.
Yeah.
Like he's a madman at this point.
Well, Ukraine
And
has access to water and the specific parts of the land that they don't have. Access to, the Black Sea. And Ukraine has some of the richest soil in the world. And
it's not just that, though.
Sure. I mean, but it has to play a part of it.
You guys make a great point of the whole, and I really, really agree that causing division is probably the biggest end game when you think about it, because I mean, that's what they have been doing. Literally, if the Democrats were pro-Putin, that they would probably pick Zelensky. It's just like, what is that side saying? What is Biden saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say the opposite.
You know what? But you know what? The main thing is, what did Trump say? What did Trump do? We know he's like the puppet here. What did he want to do? He wanted to break up NATO.
Yeah.
He wanted the end of, you know what I mean? So it's like, you have to think about it. It's like everything that Trump was like wanting to do and was saying he was going to do is probably exactly what is happening, what they want to be their end game right now.
Yeah.
To me personally, I think it just really has driven home the point to me that a lot of the things that we have suspected, that have been going on behind closed doors was in fact happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it wasn't, the whole United States would be, rallying together and being like, nope, we're not cool with this. Russia just invaded a country for basically no freaking reason. Like, no.
Yeah.
But here we are. So it's just like, if you want to try to convince me that there was no Russian interference and that the Republican Party isn't in bed with the Russians in some way, shape, or form, good luck with that.
I wonder, will there be backlash on the Republican Party from a lot of Republicans, though? I mean, from the Republicans that I do know in my own personal life, even the ones who are like Trumpies, they're very much pro-Zelensky, pro-Ukraine. And so I feel like if their politicians are constantly backing Putin and constantly trashing Zelensky, hopefully, I mean, nothing else has made them wake up, but
I think
might make them wake up and be like,
I think they're trying to toe that line very carefully right now. It's like they're testing out the waters where people think, and I think that there are a lot of people that don't know exactly what's true and what's not, especially when it comes to online, because we know that there are a lot of Russian bots online. They are flooding. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the polls since the Russian bots were shut down, but what the top hits on Facebook were, how it absolutely did like a 180, where it was like top of all this like pro-Republican stuff, Russian bots being shut down. Then it moved to it being like the other way around. They're trying to silence the masses,
Yeah.
But what I do want to, I want to move on to one thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. One more thing, Ryan.
No, I lost it as soon as you said we're moving on. Go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about. I want to talk about the war crimes of Putin at this point.
Yeah, and again, something that just kind of hits home for me. And I was telling, I forget who I was telling this to, but my wife's been struggling with her PTSD with all this shit going on, and just seeing her struggle, watching the shit on the news and knowing what's going on. We have a few friends that are still active duty. So, we're worried that they're going, they may end up having to go. And, to be sitting back and watching hospitals, maternity wards, ambulances, medical teams out in the field trying to respond to people already wounded. Yeah. These are war crimes. This isn't a joke. This isn't, I'm not exaggerating, that these are war crimes. And if you don't see the connection between what is starting to happen now and World War II and Hitler and all that, then you really aren't freaking paying attention.
100%. I mean, the fact that a woman would be going in to get care to have a baby. To have a baby. Okay. For somebody that's had 2 babies and the vulnerability, the need, your mind isn't even on anything else. And then to be bombed while you're about to have a baby, the most innocent life in general. Viscerally this week was really hard for me because that shook me to my core. The fact that happened.
And they denied it, right? They just said that it's not a hospital, it's a military base. It holds, it was a hospital, but they're holding there. And I mean, that's all they can do, because how the hell do you justify bombing a maternity hospital? You can't. There's no way you can win public support for that. So you have to say it's something else. So there's bombs there.
They're bombing public squares. They're not bombing military targets. They're bombing civilian targets. And that's the messed up part.
Well, and a couple of days ago, Chernobyl was, there was no power there. Everyone was trying to figure out what was going on. I haven't even looked into it today. I've been so busy. Does anyone have an update? Do you know what
somebody was asking me about it earlier? So I from what I heard, they took it. They
No. No, they already took Chernobyl. But what happened is they cut the power. And it was literally nuclear meltdown was happening. It was yesterday. They had like an X amount of time. Huh?
Who cut the power?
I do not know.
That's exactly what was that 2 weeks ago. I said that was what I was worried about.
Yes. Well, and it was yesterday. They were like, we literally got like 24 hours or something before it's like new meltdown situation, or 48 hours or something. Don't quote me. But I mean, that's the thing. There's so many variables when it comes to this war, and that's just another one of them. And it's terrifying, because that really can change the course of everything.
Here you go. An hour ago, Ukraine says Russia's Putin has ordered the preparation of a terrorist attack on Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So for all you people that said that I was outside of my fucking mind 2 weeks ago,
it's literally they can't cool it down right now because there's no freaking power. So it's like it's like doing all these things. No one's bombing it, but it's an act of war, right?
On Thursday, Russia claimed the power supply cable had been restored by a team of engineers who crossed into Ukraine from Belarus, but the IAEA and Ukrainian officials said work to repair the line was still ongoing. That was yesterday.
Yeah, so it's like nothing's happened yet, but it's definitely touch and go. We're working in like nuclear land, That's
and
scary.
Russia has the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world. So we're really in very crazy territory right now, because all of this could be over in the blink of an eye, and we wouldn't even know. It's brand new territory, really. I mean, war in Europe is not brand new territory, but this scale of nuclear war and the amount that Russia has at its disposal is unprecedented.
And he's already, it may be a veiled threat, but he already threatened it.
Oh yeah,
he's already threatened using their nukes. So like you said, it's definitely unprecedented for a lot of us, who are 40s, 50s. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We may be doing, active shooter drills and nuclear bomb drills again shortly.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was definitely looking up nuclear fallout and looking up things like that the other day, not just for me, but just for the sake of understanding the ramifications of this. I mean, if he did something, it could change the course of Europe forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The chances of him actually doing something to America, I think, is very slim to none. But if something were to happen, if he were to use something on Ukraine, it would have effects on the rest of Europe. And it would be a game changer for everybody.
Forever. And forever, for everyone,
forever.
Yeah, it would just change the landscape, absolutely.
Oh, and that is my fear. If they use these nuclear power plants as some type of a terrorist attack, basically trying to duplicate, the Chernobyl meltdown, that was just my fear. It sounds like a freaking novel, somebody would write, like a Stephen King book, but
everything that's happening the past 3 years sounds like a novel. Right?
I was just gonna say that.
Fair point.
I know. I'm actually going to tell you, my husband, before this started, actually started writing a dystopian novel.
Ooh.
No joke. He literally once the pandemic started and all this shit started happening, he was like, I gotta put this away because now this is not even like fiction anymore.
Yeah.
Not even fiction anymore. Like now you think
turned
every
into
day it can't get any worse, but
turned into an autobiography.
Yeah, right. May of 2019, my friend directed a short film that I was in, and we were a bunch of people who had survived. An unnamed worldwide pandemic had taken place, and there was a few survivors left, and we were all just like, and then literally a year later, this is because it took a year to release, and then once you released it, we were all just like, that's freaky.
Like, how did you know this, dude?
Yeah, this aged oddly well.
Nothing seems like sort of out of bounds anymore. It's just like you open the hand-sized spiders, murder hornets. Okay, plagues.
I have a TikTok on standby about that. Can we talk parachute? That was a great segue. Parachuting spiders are coming to the East Coast. What's going on?
I haven't heard about parachuting spiders.
They literally they spin their webs and they just fly off into the wind, and they are big. They can't bite you really, but
like Spider-Man.
I'd say a lot about the climate, Ryan, that you haven't heard about the parachuting spiders. There's so much more. Any other year, 2016, if there'd been parachuting spiders, it would have been all we could talk about.
That's true.
Now it's just like, I haven't heard about the parachuting spiders.
They're native to Australia, right? I think, and
Australia has some funky shit when it comes to animals. Yeah,
for sure.
Who is it? Billy Blanks Jr. posts some stuff every once in a while that just makes my skin crawl, and he posts this stuff.
My new account. He's great, and there's so many people that I just can't.
You gotta follow Billy. If you guys don't follow Billy Blanks Jr. and you want
I love
positive
him.
Content, somebody's gonna make you smile. Follow Billy. He's
I followed him on my other account for years, but it's just like I didn't have a backup in time, and I just forgot.
I'm still doing that. Oh crap! I wasn't following this person back. It's like
it's also really hard to keep up with who follows you and not. You go on, you have to. But I'm telling you right now, do your due diligence on TikTok right now. Go through and you see who's following you, especially if you've been doing content about Ukraine.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, go through and just. See who's following you.
I've been trying to avoid
almost 500 people have taken off. Okay. That's a lot. Boom, boom, boom. That's not right. That's not right. People that follow you out of the blue, don't follow it.
Speaking of things that aren't right, can we talk about this Don't Say Gay bill in Florida?
Yes.
Talk about trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. I mean, nobody's trying to teach your kids to be gay.
Talk about distraction. We were talking about distracting from the issues at hand. The fact that these things are even coming up.
Yeah.
What a distraction, right?
What? Yeah, exactly. What made anybody think that this was a thing, that anyone is interested in teaching children,
It's their narrative that the liberals are out there trying to teach your toddlers about sexuality and being transgender or gonna turn you gay. That's their narrative that they want to spin, that these woke liberals are coming after you and your children in the school. You better burn books and put some shit down in legislation. Fuck.
It's insane.
Did you guys see what the Disney CEO said? Or what?
I didn't see what he said.
I know he supports it. I know he's supporting candidates.
Well, yeah, they're still supporting the Republican Party, and he said something. This isn't word for word. But it was basically like, well, I talked to Governor DeSantis today, the CEO, and he assured me that they're not going to use this in any negative ways, so it'll be fine.
What's the positive way to use this? I'm sorry, it just
really. So now on Tuesday or on Monday, I think it's Monday. It's either the 12th or the 13th. A lot of Disney employees are planning on walking out in protest.
The thing is, guess what, Disney? Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, right.
You don't understand who your audience is.
I'm telling you,
you don't understand. If you do, you read the room, man. If you don't understand who your audience is, people that love the positive messages of Disney love the positive inclusion of Disney, and yet you do the opposite as a company, people are not going to stand for that. They're
No.
going to say, bye, Disney Plus. I'm not coming to you. Bye. I'm not going to visit your shit. Like, keep it going.
I just saw today that he, Bill, I can't even think of his name. He's here in Boston. He's the guy who's like in charge of Disney. He finally spoke out, like saying something today that, oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm late to say this, blah, blah, blah. But, of course we stand with but it's kind of like too little too late.
Oh, yeah.
What
you showed your true colors the first time. Now you're backtracking because of the public backlash.
What scenario does sexuality come up in kindergarten to is it third grade or something?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, unless you're saying like I have a mom and a dad, or my mom and my dad did it. Well, in that case, you'd also be saying, well, my two dads did that. I mean, that's not talking about sexuality. That's just stating a fact. It's so stupid.
It's literally trying to erase sex, like I don't know how to say it. Yeah, it's literally trying to erase the LGBT community's existence from everybody, starting at childhood. It's like, nope, we're not going to talk about it. Yeah. We're not going to talk about it. It's like,
I mean, it's called the Parental Rights in Education Act, but gay people are parents too. So what about their parental rights?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they can't talk about their gay dad, their gay mom. Yeah, no.
But you know what? There is just so much hate out there. And the fact that we could be spending our time doing so many other things.
Yeah.
Like so many other things. And even on a Republican stance, like there was no problem. Like you said, Tracy, there was no problem to begin with. It's making up a fucking problem that wasn't even in existence.
But we saw this before with critical race theory too. Like it really wasn't a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing. They make up these talking points to keep us like this.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that any of this is still coming out, up in like politics. Are you kidding me? We've already addressed this. Gay marriage is okay. Be who you want to be. Live and let live.
Yeah.
Well, can we talk about the positive? What's
the positive?
There wasn't many positives here, but the one positive I took from it was all the kids who walked out from their school.
Word.
And they went to the Capitol down there as well, and went into the Capitol building. But all the kids who are not okay with this and are using their voice, using their platform, learning to stand up for themselves and what they believe in, and just not being silent. When I was a kid, I don't think I would have stood up because I wasn't confident enough.
Yeah.
But all it takes is 2, 3, 4, 5 kids to start standing up, and then it's like, oh shit, you know what? Yeah, I'll stand up too. So to see these kids just push back and let the state know, let the country know that they're not okay with this, I took a lot of hope from that.
Agreed. Well, I will tell you, I believe that Gen Z is not messing around.
No.
And they give me hope because think about the things that they have been through, even in the last few years, to be in this moment in time with everything going on politically, pandemic wise, what they've been through. They're resilient, but they're also incredibly smart and into politics. They understand. They've been exposed in a way that we weren't really kind of pushed into. My first really kind of push into politics was when I went to college, and it was like protesting the war and George Bush. And that was like, all right, I'm politics. That was my, But like for them, it's like, they're like 14 years old. They're like, this isn't right. I have to do something, and I'm going to be part of this change. By the time that they get to the age of actually being able to vote, please get out there and vote.
You guys, but that's the actual only reason I got on TikTok, was that it was just before the election, and I was just like, TikTok, it's this kind of a kids app. It's like, okay, there's going to be a lot of first-time voters on there, and so I went on and just started making videos, trying to, and I think we can pat ourselves on the back and say that we did help get first-time voters out there and vote.
Absolutely.
And it was so important. And like you guys, I stuck around after that because I met you people, and just it's a great community in that. But yeah, this Gen Z are just so important. And besides eating Tide Pods and stuff like that, they do good stuff.
You know what? I will just say, in their defense, I hear you on the Tide Pod, but aren't we the luckiest generation that we didn't have the internet
I know.
when we were kids?
Oh, yeah.
Girl, Ryan, come on. You know, if you imagine if you were their age and
I was an angel. I don't know what you're talking about. You guys.
I was not.
No, I
and
wasn't either.
let me tell you, good thing.
You know,
good thing.
And I think
no evidence, baby.
For us all to kind of remember too is that, you know, when we're lashing out at people like, how could you do that? Like, remember, if everything you did wrong was posted on the internet, you'd probably be getting your ass handed to you too. So, you know, let's just have a little forgiveness for some of these youngins trying to find their way on the internet, you know, and everything. But
for anybody, I always say that, you know, if somebody messes up, I will always give a second chance. Now, you know, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth chances are another thing. But if somebody is genuinely sorry and says it takes the will to be sorry, though. You can't forgive or give a pass to somebody who's not sorry for what they did. But if somebody's like, you know what, I understand why that offended somebody, and I know better now, and going forward, I'm going to do this. Then I'm just like, okay, you know. And that actually happened with somebody on TikTok. I can't remember his name. He said something that it was sexist, but he was like, oh, I didn't realize that was sexist. And he was like, oh, I can see now. And I was just like, that's good enough for me. And I know a bunch of my other girlfriends were just like, nope, he's a bad guy. And I'm like, you know, if every bad thing we ever did was held against us, as long as we're willing to learn and grow and move on, then, you know, I'm good with it.
I'll give you my personal one. This one happened probably like 4 or 5 months ago. And I was responding to somebody that was trolling me, and I said something in the end. I basically topped it off with, you know, you can eat a bag of dicks. And I got a couple people that
messaged me with a good time. Sorry, go ahead.
I had a lot of gay people that actually was like, hey,
word up to that, girl. Word up to that.
But at the end of the day, somebody messaged me, a couple people messaged me, and they're like, hey, you know, that's kind of like a dig at the LGBTQ community a little bit. Now, you know, it's like using. Yeah, and I didn't either. And so I kind of said the same thing. I was like, damn, you know, my ignorance definitely took over there, my fault, you know. And so I caught myself the other day saying something similar. I was about to type it out and I went, nope, like, you can't put that out there. So it's like, you know, like you said,
you do better, right?
You learn, you got to do better. And you just, you know, you have to teach yourself, like, you know, there are things that we used to say back in the day when I was a kid. Like, we used to call each other F word all the time, you know, faggot. You know, or you're gay or whatever. We used to say that like with no problem.
The 90s were a time though. All that stuff was like in your face. It was not the woke generation that we have now.
Well,
it was definitely
honestly, I would argue that it was because of that. Of that we are where we are now, that it's so acceptable for, you know, there to be gay relationships on TV and things like that. So I mean, you know, it's just like I said, what was acceptable in the late 90s clearly isn't acceptable in 2022. And that's okay. You know, growth is a choice. We've grown. Hopefully we have grown as a society and people.
Half of the society, maybe.
Your point, Ryan, it's not even a case of that it was acceptable and now that it isn't. It's that it never was, but we weren't hearing voices of the people before. Now we have the internet. People are able to say, you know what, that's never been okay to say that. We've never liked that. So now we're hearing it and we're saying, oh, okay. Well, you know, if a bunch of people from a certain community tell you something is offensive to them and they don't like it,
stop doing it.
So interesting. You know?
Well, and that shows maturity. When you take something and you internalize it, you look in yourself and you figure out what I need to change or what I shouldn't say anymore and acknowledge your mistake. It's just as easy as that, right?
And
unfortunately, our politicians don't think the same way.
No. But I also want to, you know, thank the people who private message me to correct me instead of, you know, raking me over the coals, which they easily could, you know, and they have every right to. But they decide to private message me and correct me behind closed doors. And I personally, as somebody who puts out a lot of content, I appreciate, you know, people who are willing to correct me, you know, privately. They don't need
Someone did that for me too. And it's so, I said it to them. I said, thank you so much.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I totally agree. Well, the next thing that I want to talk about, since we were talking about the don't say gay. I can't. Don't say
It's
gay,
like a
Bill.
tongue twister, isn't
can't
it?
It
even
is.
say
It
don't
is.
say
Well, you know, and I guess what I say gay. I say gay. That's my motto. But there's the Idaho bill, and then there's a new Missouri law coming out. We've got, you know, the Texas Supreme Court coming in for abortion. There's a lot going on as far as impeding on other people's rights. I know the new Missouri law is coming after women having ectopic pregnancies. Like, an ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy in the fallopian tubes. It has the potential to kill a woman. If you cannot get an abortion from that, it kills the mother. The pregnancy is not going to be viable anyways.
Yeah, my mom
But
actually had one.
and it was introduced by a man. Like,
My mom
you-
actually had one of those. That's no joke. Like it'll kill you.
it will. It can burst your fallopian tubes and
Yep.
just done and done. What is going on in this country with the need to regulate bodies and women's rights? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, honestly, as a man, I really want to hear how you ladies feel about it.
I'm pissed.
I would assume. I just, I really, from a man, I'll give my, my take at the end, but I think it's really important for more men to sit back and hear what women really have to say about this.
I'm just lucky I live in California. I feel incredibly privileged that I live in California.
Same for Boston, yeah.
Right? When you live in a place that doesn't think like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine living in a place where this would be a thing. I have 2 daughters, and anyone thinking they can, take away my child's rights or a woman's rights to do anything with her own body is just disgusting to me. It's deplorable. We should have autonomy over our own bodies. And especially when it's men that are coming up with these things that literally don't even understand basic anatomy. Like this ectopic pregnancy thing.
Yeah, it's
people
like,
are heated.
Why do you want a woman to go ahead with what could your possible reason be? That's what gets me. You want this woman to die on the table. It's all about control. That's the straightforward answer, because there's absolutely no reason. Otherwise, everything, whether it be don't say gay, ban on abortion, and then even if ectopic pregnancies, it's like it's all about control. It's these people are gaining more freedom, more rights, more votes, yada yada. We need to.
I think it's trying to keep the status quo.
Exactly.
It's like we are in this world where we have these, old white men that want everything to be like the 1950s or whatever, visions of what life should be, pandering to a Christian base. Obviously, there's a huge, evangelical base that we have in America. We are coming towards midterms. So anything that is being done right now, I feel is a direct result of people trying to show off for their constituents.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why something like shit like that would never fly in California.
But they only ever want to enforce evangelical or Christian beliefs that will benefit them. They never want to strike out divorce or adultery or anything like that. It's always the gays and the women,
Yep.
And maybe if we put a little fire under their asses, it would, bring, I don't know, like ban on ejaculation or something like that.
Yeah.
If I could rule the country, if I could do like a whole, anti male piece to this, it'd be like, all right, if you're going to ejaculate, that's against the law.
God strikes the guy down for ejaculating. So, I'm
going to hell.
Bible verses for
your brother just said they're trying to make The Handmaid's Tale like a reality. Absolutely, they are. Yeah. It's insane.
Yep. Okay.
Hello. Hi, Rianne.
So for me, I think a big part of it, of course, like you ladies said, it's a control thing. And I think it's even more deeper rooted. I think there are a lot of men out there that why they act tough and say all these tough things that in reality inside, they're just scared little boys. Mm-hmm. And when you have a woman, the video going around of are you intimidated by a woman who makes more than you, if your wife makes more than you or whatever, and the dudes are all like, whoa, dude, shut up. Stop being stupid. Like me and my
There's a
wife.
lot of douche canoe videos going around right now.
True, fair, but
It's hard to
it's
weed them
like
out.
my wife and I, we're a team. It's like we don't
Mhm.
sit there and count out the beans and say, how many beans did you bring in this month? It's like
Your beans, yeah.
right, like we're all the beans go in the same bowl, and we pay what we need to pay, and we do what we need to do, and we take care of the kids. It's
Yeah.
but I have a very strong wife. She was a master sergeant in the military. She's deployed 3 times to the sandbox. Like, she is not one to be fucked with. And me, as a man, you have to kind of take a step back and realize that, like, this woman doesn't need me. She doesn't need me to take care of her. She allows me
A
to.
strong man to realize.
Word up
They
to
think
that.
it's a weak man, but it actually takes a lot of strength.
It does, because you
have
got,
a strong woman.
you accept that. You're like, hey man, my wife doesn't need me. She doesn't need that man to pound his chest and do that. She can handle her shit, but at the end of the day, she likes being a woman. She likes a man she likes letting me take care of her.
I love it. That's
exactly.
my favorite
Women,
thing.
It's the difference between a woman loving.
I
having a man
have a
taking care of
master's
her.
degree. I don't need my husband in any way, shape, or form, but I love it. And I love the way he loves me, and I love the way he wants to support me.
Yep.
But it's also part of our thing. And he also understands that I am a Spitfire, and he better walk on eggshells around what I'm just kidding.
But I mean, there's some reality to that. There's certain things that I think
I'm not going to just take it lying down. I'm not
just going to
someone to control. I'm not somebody you can control. He knows that. Even if I like the idea of being taken care of, there's I have what someone may deem a femininity of me that just wants to be taken care of, but it's not always the case. I mean, I am also very headstrong, like your wife probably, wants to, she can do for herself, but she loves you and she wants that from you, right?
Absolutely. And there's a flip side to it too. I mean, you guys have been following me for a few years, I have an edge to me. And so because of that edge and that emotional side to me, I need a woman that, can put me in my place. And my wife is very good at that. She's very good at keeping me humble, especially with this online shit. Like, you start getting 50,000 followers, sometimes your head starts getting big. People start telling you they love you, all this stuff. My wife's like, no, you're still just those kids' dad. Don't forget that.
Word.
And it's like, she has this way of just being like that shit while, having a platform is important. Like, she knows how I use it. She's like, but at the end of the day, this stuff right here, this is what matters. And I need that. I need that person to just kind of be like, okay,
But I bet she's also your biggest cheerleader at the same time as well.
Absolutely.
And that's the great thing about our spouses is that, they will keep us humble, but at the same time, number one hype man for like, yeah, you should make a video on that. You're funny, you're smart. Yes. Keep telling me this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the main thing about this is everything you're saying, Ryan, is you're a true feminist here. I mean, you are in and of itself. That's what being a feminist is. You are equal to your wife. You also know how fantastic she is, how life would not even cease to be as amazing as it is without even her existence.
Oh, yeah.
But the equality of it, that you're not sitting here being, I am better because I am man. Okay. No. And the fact of the matter is that shit is incredibly pervasive in our country. I mean, I make a ridiculous TikTok series called La Douche Podcast, where, I dress up as a dude and I'm sitting here literally just like this, but like with the filter on my face. And I'm like, yo, man. But like these men that are coming out here, I just did one where a guy was like, shout out to my girls that know how to knit. Women back in the day just knew how to do things. And guess what? Oh, yeah. Oh, it was so bad. I can't believe you haven't seen it. It's so fucking degrading.
I need to get back on TikTok. I haven't really been.
Jason's like, I'm coming back.
I will send you this guy's thing. It's like the bad guy or something like that. I don't know what it's called. But all he does is talk shit about women, but he thinks he's being positive, but he's being incredibly misogynistic. And that is no idea. And that's the thing, because even people in the comments, even within one statement like that, where shout out to my girls that know how to knit. women to know how to do things. He's literally putting basis that women shouldn't be able to do things outside of the home, blah, 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 blah. But he's also building people up. And then there are people that are like, oh, but I knit, so I'm awesome. I'm still cool, like we toe a very, very thin line when it comes to this stuff. And it's really sad, but it's very pervasive and it's out there.
No, I might as well talk about this since it's right beside me, but I'm very handy. And I put up this beadboard all by myself.
Nice.
My nail gun. And I made this shelf. And, that's my husband he doesn't enjoy doing handy DIY things like the saws, the hammers, the nail gun. They're all mine. They're all my domain. But I love doing it. And sometimes if I get overwhelmed by life or I just like to go outside and like make something. And
I thought she was going to
say
that
Tracy,
nail gun. Put that nail gun in the wall, pulling the trigger. Just
Tracy, you and I are very similar. Me too.
He just came home.
I'm the plumber of the house, girl. Like, I'm the plumber. I do the thing. Yeah. I'm the one.
But it's not to make a point or anything. It's like stress relief because it's a project you start. You can see the end result. And it's like, there it is. And it unlike a lot of other things in life, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you see your end product, and it's rewarding. And I've always loved doing it since I was a little girl.
Do you two remember by chance it was somebody on Twitter that posted a video of his wife shoveling the driveway after she had done like a 12-hour shift. She was a nurse.
No.
This dude got dragged. He was a representative of some state or something, and he got dragged, myself included. I was one of them. And but it turns out that she came out and was like, she goes, that's my thing. She goes, I like to shovel after a 12-hour shift to just release and just, so it's like on the outside, we're all like, what a piece of garbage to let your wife after a 12-hour shift come home and shove the snow, you piece of. But then it's like you find out that's her thing.
But you know what? That's feminism right there. The husband recognizing and knowing that's exactly what his wife needs and wants. My husband knows I'm the plumber. I'm the IT tech over here. We have our strengths and we do things. We have our strengths and the things that we bring to the table.
Yep.
But in no way does he ever say, this is man's work. And that is woman's work. And that's what you
move over, little lady.
Go and knit some things and make me a beanie.
Okay, so I just want to top off the abortion ban and one more thing before we get to the best part and the ending.
I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but on abortion and the Texas law, the Missouri law on ectopic pregnancy, it's really upsetting for me to hear from a party of small government that wants to control everything about what a woman does with her body. Like you all said, what's the point? Why do men have to have this? And then
you just said it right there. Why do men?
Yeah. And then after the babies are born, it's the party of we don't give a shit. So that's the part I don't understand. And it's the separation of church and state that's missing as well. And when you're talking about abortion, the only thing they ever really bring up as a reason not to do it is because God says it's wrong, or however they word it. But it's like, okay, God doesn't make laws. I know you guys get confused about that and think your laws are God-given, but they're actually not. They're given to you by a bunch of old white men that wrote it down on a piece of paper.
Absolutely.
So it's just like, stop bringing your personal religious beliefs into, or stop letting it affect other women. Stop letting it dictate how other women live their life, other people live their life. Like the trans bill, where they're what is it, in Idaho, they're threatening life in prison. They're threatening life in prison if anybody helps trans youth. Kids. Trans youth is kids, just for anybody.
The most at-risk population that there is.
They're attacking.
I from being from a blue state, I can't even.
Yeah.
I can't even understand it.
As
a human, I absolutely. But to think that there are people that are trapped in these states that can't get out, they can't leave, whatever means they have, They can't leave because
And
they are
everybody around them
subjected to
is
this kind of crap.
And everybody around them is being told, if you help them, you're going to be punished. How would that, like, if I was a trans kid, I would never come out. I would never tell anybody. Like that's the plan. They want to make it so that these kids don't come out. They don't want to transition, or they're afraid to transition because of all the negative and impact that it's going to have.
They think that by trying to ban these things or trying to make them really difficult, that these things are not going to happen anymore. But the fact of the matter is there has been LGBTQ people since time began. They have been. And they've been at varying levels of being accepted by society or being prized of society, depending on where you look at it in the world and in history. But they've always been there, and they're not going anywhere.
No.
And it's ridiculous that we're...
And, can we just also acknowledge that this is the party that cannot even handle even an ounce of infringement on their freedoms?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think we all know this, but it just has to be said again. The hypocrisy of it, I think that's what makes me most angry of it all. Because we have people going against mask mandates, vaccines, doing things that actually benefit society because they don't want to be controlled. And no one's actually saying, it's literally businesses saying that they can't do these things.
Yeah, they hijacked, the my body, my choice statement for masks, and now they're back to telling people what they can do with their bodies, and it's not their choice.
Yep.
Exactly.
So which one is it? I mean, I thought it was my body. I mean, for a mask, my body, my choice.
It's always whatever they want it to be.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So speaking of dummies,
Donald Trump.
Let's move on to the last topic of the night. So I don't know if either of you heard, but Donald Trump's plane had to do an emergency landing due to an engine failure. Did you guys hear that?
He was okay. I'm just letting everyone know he was okay.
Oh, phew.
The best comment I got on TikTok was, I'll volunteer to fix Donald Trump's plane. ... Did I mention I'm not a mechanic?
Well, I love that. I actually just did a TikTok because the latest with Donald Trump is that he sent out an email trying to grift for money to get a new plane. The grifter in chief is at it again. He lost his engine went down, which is a Rolls-Royce engine, right? By the way, okay. Mm-hmm. His entire plane. I actually was reading up on it today. If you could melt down all the gold inside of his plane, it would be enough gold to cover like a VW bus that's inside of his plane. And then they've got everything mahogany, gold, and the Rolls-Royce engines. And so now he's grifting to create a new plane. And it's got to be better than this last one. So,
but his whole platform was, I'm this really rich guy. I've got so much.
I'm a billionaire.
Money. And yet all he does is send 5 to 15 emails a day asking for money. I'm still on his email chain. I thought I would get off it after he lost the election, but he kept up with the grift. So I was like, I'm going to keep the enemy close, and see what every single day between, as I said, 5 and 15 emails. And every single one of them looking for money. And I got the email asking for money for his new plane as well, because he's so rich.
Like, if in case anybody needs me to connect these dots for you, let me connect the dot. His plane goes down with an engine failure, Rolls-Royce engine, like Maggie pointed out. Okay. A couple days later, an email comes out saying that they need to update or they need to do a new plane, and he calls it
I'm
Trump
here for this conspiracy. I'm here for this.
Trump Force One, right? So if you haven't figured it out, the plane fucking broke, and Donald Trump can't afford the maintenance on it, and now he needs everybody to pay for it. And when he says new plane, he means same plane, different paint job, new engines. Just so we're clear.
Well, okay, I said that in my TikTok, and everyone's like, he wants a new plane, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what he's saying, but it's they're gonna rebuild the same plane for sure. I'm here for it's all a grift.
No, go ahead.
Jay. No, go ahead, Tracy.
Donald Trump would be hysterical if he wasn't constantly trying to fucking lead America. I mean, if he were just some tool off to the side, he's so comically stupid, it's hysterical.
Do you remember the song for his reality TV show? Money, 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 money.
That's a pop song. Who sings that?
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was his theme song for, I don't know, what was his, Your Fired show? What was it called? What was your
Yeah.
show?
The Apprentice, right?
The Apprentice. The Apprentice song was money, 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 money. That's always what it's been about. And, you know, I'm sure right now he's a little pressed because all of his oligarch friends are, you know, being sanctioned upon. So, you know, deals are not happening. So he's probably going to be coming out with even more grifts. We came out the other week. We were talking about how Trump steaks are back, but they're putting them under some other freaking name right now. Like, he's always after some kind of crazy thing. And this is just his new one. And you know what? And I will tell you something. The people that are complaining about $4 a gallon gas prices are the same people that are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to give that guy $500 for a fucking plane. Yeah. I'm going to do that. Like, they're the same people that are going to do that.
Yep. And that's where we're going to end it. So, Tracy, where can we find you? I know, are you building up your TikTok?
I am going to come back to, I am on TikTok, but I'm not really posting at the moment, but go follow me anyway, everybody, at The Tracy Show. And I'm going to try to get my old account back as well. I haven't stopped trying to get it back, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm still trying to get mine too.
Hey, you can always email community guidelines at TikTok for the real Tracy Delaney. And that would also help as well because she is fantastic and she built her following and put a lot of work into that, and she deserves to have her account back.
And if you happen to sleep with anybody at TikTok, please use your connections and get our accounts back. Thank you.
Yes.
But before we go, I just want to say on a personal note, guys, these 2022 elections are here. Okay. These candidates are out here. We're all running these elections. Everybody's trying to get signatures just to get on the ballot. So look, guys, go check locally with your local Democratic Party, see if there are any ballots that need signed so that we can get Democrats need to be on the ballot for us to even win. So please go sign these petitions for our candidates. It's extremely important. Get Democrats on the ticket so that we can take back the state houses across the country. And with that, Maggie, you got anything else?
No, I'm good. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us on this Friday in the middle of 2022. It just keeps on getting more interesting, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Tracy, thank you for being on the show. Hopefully you'll come back and see us again.
Definitely.
And I'll leave you guys, as I always do, with much love. Keep fighting. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Bye, everybody.